Welcome back, everybody. It's Still Talking Podcast. This is episode 5. I am the host, Joe Still, and actually I'm welcoming myself as a guest on the show as well. I'm Joe Still hosting and Joe Still guesting, if you want to call it that. So enough of the Still Talking. I'm just going to ramble on all day. Today we have a very good podcast episode. We're talking about books. I'm going to give you a couple recommendations. We're going to go into a little bit of summary of each, and they all kind of fall in line with the same category of stepping out of the matrix, getting into the real world, pushing yourself a little farther. And honestly, reading to me has been something that has been new. I never used to read besides a Harry Potter book. Those were always fun, Hunger Games, whatever. But I'm talking about actually reading, taking information from something on paper and putting it in your head and remembering that. I feel books are a lot better at that than just reading online. What I mean by that is ChatGPT, you can just go on there now, type up a 500-page autobiography on somebody and in less than half a second. So I feel books have more time put into them. It's the way information used to be passed around, right? There never used to be the internet. You never caught hop on Google and ask it a question and it magically gets you an answer. So books to me, at least in this past year, the ones I've read have been inspirational to my life in many ways, and I'd just like to share them all with you. So enough of talking. Let's just go through the list here. So the first book recommendation I have for everybody out there wanting to start their life, they're not there yet. They really want to step into it. Maybe they want to go be a drop shipper, go make some money online, or maybe step into real estate, or it could be any other industry, right? Getting your plan in motion is this book, Eat That Frog, Brian Tracy. You've heard that name before. He's no newcomer to the subject of entrepreneurial world and stepping up in business. This book in general will talk about the step-by-step plans and how to just look at an obstacle. I need to sell 1 million houses this year. I need to sell $10 million in real estate this year. Break that down into different segments and really attack the goals and daily goals and cross them off your list and just eat that frog, right? Look at an obstacle and say, oh, that's too difficult. Just eat the frog. Get that done so you can get to that goal. This book really dives into different methods on how to go through that. Another thing we talked about in a previous podcast was planning out your days by hour. With this book, we'll go into a first couple passages called the ABCD method, where it basically says write down everything your day and put letters A or B or C or D in accordance to the most important being the A that's in your day, down to all the way down to D being the least important in your day. Put those A's up to the top of your list and put the D's and everything in between in order down on the list. Now, there's a couple different other tools that are in this book, but this book in general, Eat That Frog, it was one of the first ones I read this year. It was a great book. It not only helped me get my scheduling back to the way it should have been, but if you're going to pick up this book, I recommend. Actually, I'll be linking all these PDFs down below, so if you're not watching that, definitely go in the link in the bio, and you'll be able to see all these books, free PDFs. Next one we got is, let's see here, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The author on this one, I do want to quote. Let's see here. Pulling it up. Who knows? Unknown author. Nope. Stephen R. Covey. I think that's his name. We're just going to go with Stephen. Our man Stephen here on 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, the book pretty much tells you in the title, it's going to give you 7 habits of the highly effective people. A lot of these break down from books like Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, or a couple other ones that you've read. Even Brian Tracy has a couple of the books that include some of these habits. But the basic form of these habits is to get your life back to the way it should be, or what's most effective to yourself. I've been reading this book for off and on between a couple other ones I've been reading, and it's helped me in a sense of finding the more corporate structure of my days, right? I know in the previous book we just talked about the ABCD method, right? This one goes into habits on how to set your life up before your day starts, like making your bed first thing in the morning, having a daily, nightly routine, and following this stuff and getting yourself lost in the process. That's one of these effective habits. It goes into a lot more. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but like I said, I'll be linking this one in the bio as well. So definitely check 7 Habits of Highly Effective People out as well. And then our third and final book recommendation here is a very good one, probably one of my favorite books, The Energy Bus. Again, we don't know the author, so let's just pull it up here really quick. The Energy Bus by John Gordon. That is a great book. Okay, pretty much another one of those storybooks. In the last podcast, we shot 1 out to you, but very different from The Alchemist in a sense that The Energy Bus follows a man his life is less than ideal. He's running into struggles everywhere, from his job to his home life to even just getting to work. And so this boss really takes you on the journey, which I love. I love how it takes you from, basically just being in his household to basically transforming his entire life and his business. The energy boss, it really goes into depth on what you need to do to change just by the energy you're putting out into the world. The bus driver Joy, who he meets in this book, is delightful in its own. And reading this book not only will change your life, because it has changed my life, but it will transform you into an energy beast, right? You'll always have the energy. I'm a very charismatic guy as it is. They say I'm the Energizer Bunny with no batteries in them, right? I run around all the daytime, right? This energy bus book is probably the best if you're really low, really on procrastinating, you just don't want to do anything, you're rotting in your bed kind of a deal. This book will change you if you get on that. All three of these books will change you in general, but I wanted to put these out to everybody. And reality is, when you read, you get a little smarter, whether you're reading online, whether you're reading a book, whether you're just taking some information from somebody. It's a form of reading, it's a form of communication, it's a form of learning. I stress that everyone goes pick up a book. I read about 10 to 15 pages a night. That's just me. You can get away with 5 pages a night, and that could be part of your routine that goes into the 7 habits. But instead of me just rambling on all this time, I mean, that's pretty much the book recommendations I want to get out to you guys. It's kind of the podcast. It's not a very big one. I want to make these things more value added. So if you can take anything out of this video, take those 3 books. Take those 3 books. Maybe don't even look at them. Just look them up. Like I said, they're free PDFs down here in the bio. But in terms of that, listen, I'll see you next Wednesday in the Still Talking podcast. It's